Okay. Hi, Christine. So, welcome everyone, Fertility Talk. As you guys know, we are doing a series of fertility talks on different subjects. And at the moment, our topic is preparing for fertility treatments. As it's January, everybody is like, where do I go? Where do I start with fertility treatments? This is the year I'm going to do it. And I'm actually going to get into fertility treatments. Actually going to start my journey. Where do we start and how does it start? So it's a 5-part series. And today we're doing the third part, and we're speaking to Christine. And Christine, she is a nutritionist, but I think you need to just confirm all the details about this. So I'm going to hand you over to Christine, and we're going to talk about preparing your body for fertility treatments in a sense of nutrition and what is necessary, what is needed, lifestyle, that type of thing. So, Christine, welcome. Thank you for joining us on Fertility Talk, and being part of this starting of the series of actually preparing yourself for fertility treatments, it being in the new year as well. So, please introduce yourself to everyone. Tell us where you're from, what it is that you do.
Hi, Leanne. Thank you so much for having me. So I'm Christine. I'm a registered dietitian, focusing on fertility nutrition. That's my passion. And I'm also the founder of Sofitt Nutrition and the developer of the famous Advanced Fertility Support Shake, and now also the newly launched Mama Support Shake. So basically, I am based in the Netherlands. Funny story, hence the long close, the winter close. But I do online consultations serving international clients, but mainly focusing on the South African market, as that's where I studied and I know the food and the market and everything very well there. So yeah, I'm basically based in the Netherlands, and yeah, that's me in a nutshell. And yeah, living my passion. As I don't know if you've read my bio before,
Yeah.
but yeah, I've also been through a 7-year TTC journey with our little girl. She's 2 years old, 2.5 years old now,
Yes.
and she was conceived via IVF and more specifically ICSI. So that is our little miracle, and yeah, and that's where the whole passion for fertility nutrition actually began.
Okay, thank you very much, Christine. It's always nice to speak to someone that's also, when you're talking about these things, and you're actually speaking to someone that's also been on this journey. It's not that it makes the conversation easier, but it's nice to know that the person you're speaking to on the other side also know that where you're coming from. When you're speaking. So I think that would help a lot of patients when you're dealing with them.
Yeah.
And through the consultation and stuff. So I'm going to get right into it. Our first question, like I said, is we're talking about it's part of a series called Preparing for Fertility Treatments. And one of the main things, like I said, is nutrition. And so the question that we have for you today is, could you provide guidance on lifestyle modifications to consider prior to embarking on fertility treatments? Example, diet, stress management, exercise. What is it that you recommend in this instance?
Okay, so basically, first of all, it is quite important to understand that the TTC process is a combined approach by
Mhm.
male and female, as the embryo consists out of 50% DNA from the father and 50% of the mummy. So what we also need to understand before we delve a little bit deeper is
Mm,
that although the issue is not only on the one side, it is still vital to have good quality sperm or egg so
mm,
that your chances is improved for a positive outcome. So
mm,
if you understand, if the issue is with the lady with PCOS and the male or the hubby is fine, it's still important for him as well to make dietary and lifestyle changes for improved chances to fall pregnant. So what lifestyle and diet modifications do one have to look at before starting treatment? So first of all, it's very obvious, a healthy diet. So what is a healthy diet? So the research are the strongest among the Mediterranean diet. So what is the Mediterranean diet? It is basically not to exclude any food groups. So it's basically including carbohydrates, which is especially high in whole grains, your low GI products, vegetables, fruits, proteins, dairy, and fats. So not excluding any food groups in the diet. This is to ensure that we don't exclude any vital nutrients, which is very important for all the processes important for good quality egg or sperm. And all the processes going along with that, like ovulation, and implantation. So we're supplying the body with all the nutrients by not excluding any food groups in the diet. Obviously, this can go a lot deeper. And once you maybe contact a registered dietitian or your healthcare professional, they can build a personalized plan around that. But we don't want to go to funny diets when coming to trying to conceive. We
Yes.
want to include a holistic approach when coming to food. And then secondly, I'm just going to point on pointers because there's quite a lot to say about everything, but I want to go through everything in the session as I know we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
So secondly, a healthy weight is very important. So as weight can have a significant effect on your fertility, as high fat mass result in increased estrogen levels and also increased insulin level, which can then cause increased inflammation then in the body, which prevent or your body doesn't prioritize falling pregnant when there's high fat mass and high stress levels, basically. So just reducing a bit of fat, like 5%, can make a huge impact in fertility.
Yeah.
So by making like small changes, like adding a little bit of physical activity, usually about 30 to 45 minutes of being active a day, or making small dietary changes, decreasing maybe your sugar intake can take you a long way. Removing caffeine from the diet, but I'll just talk a little bit more about that now. But just start small and then you can build on that going from there because Rome wasn't built in one day. And then thirdly, alcohol. So alcohol consumption, it's quite an obvious one, but it's worth mentioning.
Yes, yes.
Has been reported to decrease fertility and increase the risk for miscarriages, as there's association between alcohol and also increased estrogen levels. So if possible, avoid alcohol completely associated with the risks. But if you do drink alcohol, try to limit it to about 1 drink per day. And then red wine is a good option if you want to opt for some alcohol there. Then another point I just want to mention is caffeine, especially in women. So caffeine is associated with the increased risk for miscarriages. So the recommendation here is to limit caffeine consumption to about 200 milligrams per day. So I know it's quite 200 milligrams doesn't mean a lot, but if you think of a good cup of filter coffee, it contains about 80 milligrams. So if you have about 2 cups of coffee, you're almost there. So things like your cocos, like chocolate, hot chocolate, your teas does contain caffeine. So so taking in mind all the caffeine consumption in a day, it's easy to push over that limit. So recommendation usually is to go decaf or opt for things like rooibos tea instead, or just have 1 cup of coffee and limit all the other stuff.
I think that's one of the most difficult things is the coffee. It's like, how do you survive without the coffee?
Yes, I can so relate with that as well, especially with that first cup of coffee in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm quite a coffee lover as well. So it was quite a thing for me to switch to decaf.
Yeah.
But it tastes the same. It's just
Yes.
it's
You don't get
sometimes
that
just
kick.
placebo effect as well. You don't get that kick,
Yes.
but sometimes it's a placebo effect as well. But yeah, you build a tolerance to caffeine as well. So if you don't get it, then you feel it in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's caffeine. So moving along, looking at trans fatty acids. So that's basically your bad fats. You get good and bad fats. So the trans fatty acids are usually things like baked goods, biscuits, chips, pies, pastries, and all your deep fried foods like takeaways and so on. So those have been linked to infertility in both men and women, as it's highly associated with systemic inflammation. So
Yeah.
it also causes insulin resistance, cardiovascular diseases, and also it can cause type 2 diabetes when there's a high consumption of trans fatty acids.
Yeah.
So we don't want the bad fats. We rather want good fats, which is things like more your avos, your nuts, your seeds, your oils, and so forth. Yeah, fatty fish like your salmon, tuna,
Yeah.
and so on. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the fifth point I just want to make is sugar sweetened beverages and artificial sweetness.
Mm.
So the consumption of sugar sweetened beverages and artificial sweetness may have adverse effect on fertility in both men and women. So avoid sugar beverages. So this is things like more like your colas and things like that, your
Yeah.
oros. So for about 3 months prior to egg or sperm collection.
Yeah.
And then also avoid artificial sweetness. So this is also like your Diet Coke, your Sprite Zeros, things like that, has also been linked to infertility as well. So
Yes.
rather opt for things like stevia, which is a natural sweetener. If you want to add it to your water or your coffee or your tea, you can opt for stevia, which is a natural sweetener, and it
And is
doesn't
the
have.
other one is xylitol? Is that okay?
That is also okay. Yes, that's
Yeah.
also a natural sweetener. Coming to that, consuming a lot of xylitol can
Mm.
have an effect on your bowel. It can cause like stomach cramping or things like that. So, just monitor your symptoms when it comes to that.
Okay.
It can cause diarrhea when consuming a lot, but I assume we don't consume like bulks of those at
Yes.
once. Just a half teaspoon or so. Okay, and then fish and seafood high in mercury. So
Okay.
fish in the natural environment eat plants and other
Yeah.
organisms that contains mercury. And this mercury leads to the accumulation in their muscle. So when we eat those kind of fish, we consume obviously the fish with the high mercury, and this mercury can cross the blood testis barrier and the placental barrier,
Mm.
which then can cause infertility. So mercury is a big no coming to fertility, and that examples of those kinds of fish are catfish, shark, swordfish, marlin, and so forth.
Yeah.
But I know it's not a main thing or a usual
Yes.
thing we usually eat, but sometimes it's just worth mentioning. But
Okay.
I just want to make the point as well, not to avoid fish. So
Yes.
fish that is allowed is things like fatty fish, which is
Yes.
very good. They contains high levels of omega-3, which is
Mm.
anti-inflammatory. And examples include things like salmon, tin tuna, sardines, and so forth.
Yeah.
Um, the recommendation here is to have about 2 to 3 portions per week. So in combination with a good supplement or so, but we want to ensure the basics are there, getting our nutrients first from food. So we like to follow the food first approach and then supplement where required,
Okay.
and not getting all our nutrients just from supplements.
Yes.
Yes, and then also just something worth mentioning is BPA in plastic containers. So BPA has estrogenic properties, and it has been shown that it is a hormone disruptor. So it interfere with our natural hormones in our body. So we rather want to opt for things like stainless steel, glass, or plastic containers labeled BPA free.
Yeah.
So this is quite a one that people are not really familiar with. So we want to avoid heating food in plastic containers, especially that
Okay.
really dry food containers that you at wherever at a supermarket you put
Yes.
into the microwave. Rather remove it from the plastic container, put it in a glass bowl, and then heat it up because
Okay.
sometimes activate that BPA and that causes to interfere with your hormones a little bit. So
Yeah.
rather be on the safe side coming to this.
But would
Yeah,
that go for anyone as well? I know we talking about fertility, but like
yeah.
in general, like just using it and activating that, does it affect you as well?
Yes, I would think so because yeah, everybody has hormones. So although
Yes.
you're not want to fall pregnant at that stage of your life, we don't want to interfere with any hormones in your body, which is important for other things as well.
Yeah.
So in general, we don't want to heat food in plastic containers.
Okay.
Some people even go that far not to put plastic into your dishwasher.
Dishwasher. Yeah.
Yes, because that heat also activates it. So it is actually recommended to wash it with your hands. I know
Yes.
it's not the best news for everyone, but you can also yeah, even go a step further and not washing it in your dishwasher, but by hand. But yeah, the point I want to make is we don't want to heat your plastics or opt for BPA-free rather.
Yes.
Or systematically start buying BPA-free or glass containers, removing all those other plastics from your kitchen.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And then also cling wraps, such as Glad wraps, does not contain BPA and is safe to use. So
Okay.
cling wrap is fine.
Thank you.
Okay, and then last but not least, smoking. I know it's quite an obvious one,
Mm.
but smoking can reduce fertility and may have a negative effect on hormone production in both male and female. So the recommendation is obviously to avoid smoking when trying to conceive completely,
Mm.
especially 3 to 6 months prior to egg collection, because it takes about 3 to 6 months for an egg and a sperm's quality to change.
Yeah.
So leading up to treatment, we want to, that's like your golden period before trying to conceive, let's say about 6 months to make some changes.
Okay.
And it's all doable things at the end of the day.
Mm.
It's not, so difficult, but it's taking small steps at a time and
Yes.
making small changes.
I'm glad you're saying 3 to 6 months. You're mentioning that because, when I would often get a message like, I want to conceive now. What can I take that I can take right now? And because I want to conceive now. But
Yeah,
we need to realize that it takes 3 to 6 months for anything you're going to take. And I've often said, there is absolutely nothing we can give you on the market that I can recommend, or even that a doctor's going to recommend and say, if you take this right now, you're going to
yeah,
conceive right now. So even when you come into nutrition, and you're working your way before you get into fertility treatments, it
mm,
takes 3 to 6 months to prepare your body, you know,
exactly. Yeah.
before you actually get to that point. So thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, and it's so important as well to also say that IVF is not a fix for everything. It's important to prepare your body for IVF or IUI or even just a natural pregnancy. It really just improve your chances, and especially because it's such a costly process, you
Yeah.
want to control all the things that you can control prior to leading into
Yes.
the actual process. So because if it maybe fails, then you know maybe you did everything in your control and you have peace of mind
Yes,
that you did
correct.
everything that you can do in your control, and it was not your time at that stage.
Yes.
Um, but it is an emotional process and it is a marathon, not a race. And unfortunately, we are all human
Yes.
and we want a quick fix. But that's why it's quite an emotional thing. And where a support system comes in very handy,
Mm.
a good friend or a good Facebook group or somebody like you, Fertility Solutions, just to see that there is a community supporting you day by day
Yes.
and
Yes.
that you are not alone in this. Because it's not a one day fix. It is quite
Yeah.
a deep process going in.
Yes. We mentioned all things that women can do, but I think that maybe, is it when you are trying to conceive and you're on the journey and you're going to be doing the treatments and stuff, do a man's health, does that also play a role in when you are trying to conceive?
Definitely. Looking back at our journey, my husband, we did everything together.
Yeah.
Obviously, he didn't take the supplements which I took, but he also lived a healthy lifestyle. We went exercising together. We tried to limit the alcohol together
Mm.
because it is a combined thing. Otherwise, it does create some emotion if one person in the marriage is having the social life and the other one just have to sit there. So
Yes,
it is
yes.
a combined approach. And then for men, especially processed meats plays a big role, and red meats
Mm.
can affect sperm quality quite big. And then looking at strong antioxidants like your vitamin C, um, zinc, selenium, coenzyme Q10. So there is really a lot of supplements that males can take to improve their sperm quality. The good thing about, or the good news about males or sperm is that you can change sperm quality quite quickly
Yes.
compared to a woman. So that is actually good news.
Mm.
And maybe it's just worth mentioning, but I am busy, and maybe you're the first one who knows this. It's not public really, but we're in the process of developing a male shake.
Oh, that's awesome. That is
Um,
amazing news.
yes, which have all the good stuff and protein as well. And it's going to be a nice chocolate flavor because we're getting a lot of
Nice.
questions if males can also take the fertility shake, which they
Yes.
definitely can, but we
Yeah.
just want to optimize it a bit, especially for males. So it will be
Yeah.
launching in the next, hopefully, 2 months or so.
That
But
is
keep you
awesome news.
posted.
Yeah, if maybe if you could just mention, I know the fertility shake. I mean, I've had a lot of people come back and say it's been amazing. Like I said, we're not talking about the shake today, but it's
Mm.
part of the nutrients and the obviously the proper nutrients in the shake. It's obviously contributing to a lot of of these ladies conceiving and so forth. What is recommended for someone trying, especially they always when you're going on starting the journey, like, okay, what vitamins do I take? What can I use? What is recommended by you? And maybe something that is in the shake as well.
Um, well, first of all, the shake came from my personal journey.
Mm.
Because I usually, or when I try to conceive, I did a lot of research and I saw I need to take this handful of supplements every day to ensure that I get the proper dosage in, because not all the supplements have the correct dosage in for improving egg quality
Mm.
specifically. So I thought, okay, why don't I develop a shake which have a complete prenatal in, but with optimized fertility dosages. So you'll see in the shake, there's higher levels of some stuff, like vitamin C it's not on your normal basis level. It's 1,000 milligrams. Your folate is active folate.
Yeah.
There's a list of things. Everything is in its active form.
Mm.
And so it contains a complete prenatal supplement, and then also ingredients which improves egg quality, specifically like alpha lipoic acid, which is a strong antioxidant, um, coenzyme Q10, which have been linked to very strong positive outcomes for egg quality,
Yes.
maca root. I'm trying to think now on the label, but that's basically, I think I mentioned everything.
Yeah.
But then basically in one scoop, in a nice delicious berry shake, you take that and then you don't have to take all the additional supplements as well. But
Yeah.
I also just want to mention sometimes the cases are a little bit more complex. So it's important that you need to understand that it's not a one size fits all. The
Yes.
shake covers the basis of wanting to fall pregnant. But if there's a problem going a little bit more complex, we need to do blood tests so that we can see if there's any deficiencies. So
Yeah.
sometimes the ladies even need a little bit more higher levels vitamin D, or we see there's a folate deficiency or iron deficiency. So we supplement additional to that as well. So
Yeah.
it's important to actually get to the root of the problem, especially when they want to try to conceive for more than 6 months to a year, not falling pregnant. So
Yeah.
then we try to see actually what is the problem,
Okay.
and not actually managing the symptoms at the end of the day.
Okay.
But yeah, the shake blew my mind with all the reviews. It's actually amazing. We didn't expect that at all because
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to make it more convenient for everyone, but yeah, the reviews we get is just amazing, and it's really fulfilling.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Christine. I really appreciate you coming on, speaking to us, giving us some great insight when it's trying to conceive and preparing for fertility treatments, and how important your nutrition is in this case. So, like Christine mentioned in the beginning, she does consult as well as a fertility nutritionist, fertility dietitian, sorry. Um, and she does at the Shake as well. So if you want to get hold of Christine, she's got a website. Christine, if you don't want to just if you just want to mention your website address, please.
So it's www.sofitt.co.za.
Okay.
And yeah, they can also just send me a direct Instagram message. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm going to tag you in on the Instagram as well, so you'll be able to get hold of Christine. So thank you everyone for joining, and thank you, Christine. Have a great evening.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much. Same to you,
Pleasure.
Leanne.
Bye.
Bye.